Have you ever walked into a room and felt the air tighten, not because you were loud or offensive, but because your very presence made someone else shrink? Most people assume dislike is loud and explicit, but Carl Jung warned us that the unconscious doesn't raise its voice. It withdraws, disguises, and projects. The people around you may not hate you for what you've done. They hate you for what you reveal. Your ambition exposes their complacency. Your honesty exposes their self-deception. Your discipline exposes their excuses. You are the mirror they never asked for, and most would rather shatter the mirror than face the reflection. Jung called this psychological machinery projection, the process by which we unload the parts of ourselves we can't bear to acknowledge onto someone else. When you see hostility that feels disproportionate, when support evaporates the second you begin to rise, when jokes begin to sting, you are witnessing projection at work. The envious friend doesn't necessarily want what you have. They want you not to have it. That's envy's signature. Not possession, but subtraction. Not I want that, but I want it taken away from you. It's the quiet undermining, the lukewarm congratulations, the pregnant pauses when you speak about your success. None of this is accidental. It's the psyche's desperate attempt to preserve a comforting self-image. I'm fine as I am. They're the problem. Here's the twist Jung emphasized that most motivational content skips. You have a shadow too. You are also capable of envy, projection, and passive resentment. Shadow work isn't about sanitizing yourself into moral perfection. It's about ruthless honesty. Yes, I've envied. Yes, I've pretended. Yes, I've worn masks to avoid shame. The moment you own that truth, you become unweaponizable. What they try to use against you, you've already integrated. So no, you are not the problem. You are the trigger, and that difference matters. When you internalize other people's projections, you start shrinking to make them comfortable. You soften your voice. You mute your opinions. You minimize your wins. You give more, explain more, care more, until there's nothing left. Meanwhile, the people who covertly benefit from your dimming cheer you on as humble and good. But in this context, good often just means useful. The first task, then, isn't to confront them. It's to achieve clarity. Identify the patterns. Who goes silent when you win? Who shows up only when you're down? Who responds to your honesty with distance, not dialogue? These are not random fluctuations in human behavior. They're coordinates on a map of psychic avoidance. Clarity is your liberation. Once you see what's actually happening, shadow, projection, envy, the emotional fog lifts. You stop over-explaining to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop bleeding energy into relationships that only function when you're smaller. You stop apologizing for making others uncomfortable with your growth. But clarity without strategy is incomplete. The second half of the work is learning how to hold your power without noise, how to remain unmoved in the face of resentment, and how to turn hostility into fuel. That's where strategic silence, discipline, and inward integration come in. You don't need another argument. You need a new operating system. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. You will never eliminate hate, not by being nicer, not by dimming your light, not by apologizing for existing. Even saints are hated. The question isn't how do I make it stop, it's how do I use it? Hate is energy. Where energy flows, attention follows. Most people collapse under the pressure of unwanted attention. They flinch, over-explain, panic, or make themselves small. The strong don't do that. They metabolize it. They turn insult into insight, rejection into redirection, and doubt into discipline. If someone is obsessed with tearing you down, you're not invisible. You're undeniable. Let that be data. Your presence is moving something in the collective psyche. 1. Master strategic silence. Not all silence is weakness. Sometimes silence is a scalpel. When you refuse to react, the other side spends the energy. They overthink, fill in the blanks, and expose their intentions by how they respond to your stillness. Silence is a filter. Go quiet and watch who checks in, who invents stories, who fades, and who attacks. You don't have to scream to see who's real. Just stop talking. To the manipulator, silence is terrifying. To the narcissist, it's a mirror. To the fake supporter, it's exposure. By withholding your emotional oxygen, you collapse the drama economy. You exit the stage. Without you, the performance disintegrates. 2. Protect your energy like currency. Your attention is expensive. Treat it accordingly. Stop explaining yourself to people determined to misunderstand you. Stop giving emotional access to those who drain you. Build boundaries that don't need to be announced. They're simply enforced. Your calendar, your responses, your availability, that's your fortress. You don't have to justify the locks on your door to the people who keep trying to break in. 3. Transmute hate into discipline. Keep a list, literally. Call it proof that I matter. Every dismissive comment, every sarcastic congratulations, every "who do you think you are?" document it. Not to stew in bitterness, but to remember your movement is causing turbulence. Then alchemize it. Train harder, read deeper, build quietly. Let their projections fund your progress. That's not revenge, it's alchemy. 4. Integrate your own shadow. The most dangerous person in the room is not the loudest. It's the one who's integrated. When you've made peace with your darkness, there's nothing for others to latch onto. You become unreadable, unmanipulable, underminable. Jung's warning rings loud. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Make it conscious. Journal your envy. Track your triggers. Admit your masks. The more you own, the less they can own you. 5. Walk without permission. You weren't meant to be universally liked. You were meant to be clear. Clarity is expensive. It costs you the approval of the unclear. The era of shrinking is over. No more diluting your intensity to soothe fragile egos. No more performing humility to appear safe. No more handing over your energy to people who weaponize your empathy. Your new operating system: observe more, speak less, act quietly, deliver loudly. Stop negotiating your standards. Audit your circle. Who fuels you? Who drains you? Adjust access. Hold your vision tighter than they hold their opinions. Be feared for your stillness, not your noise. In the end, you don't win by crushing your enemies. You win by no longer needing them, their validation, or their narratives. You let your life get so loud, your silence becomes deafening. You integrate your shadow so completely that no smear sticks, no projection penetrates, and no guilt hook catches. So walk away, not bitter, not broken, but bordered. Walk with power, but without permission. Let them talk. Let them hate. Let them guess. You'll be too busy becoming undeniable. This is the end of shrinking and the beginning of your clarity.